What's good? What's good? Just gonna wait for everybody to climb on in. It's Monday. Happy Monday. Let's get another good weekend, huh? Today we got a lot of news to report. There is a lot of things that is happening, and a lot of things in the celebrity world also that I don't really want to get into, but I'll just I'll name them. But you'll see when we get to that. Just let the opening music catch you while people come in. How was everybody's 420? Flat Earth, peace and love. Let's go listen to some of my beats until we get all set up here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. Let's get it. What's going on? How is everybody doing out there? It's another work week, and it is important to stay positive. You know what I mean? As we go through the work week, what are you doing here? Why are you at work? Who are you working for? Is it your kids? Is it to build your life up? Is there something heavy you got to pay for? Is someone um, expecting you to pay a debt, whatever it is. You got a mortgage, you got rent, you got clothes to buy, whatever it is. You know, you're working today for a reason. You got to go into work. Everybody's got to work every day. So, you know, the bed might look comfortable, but trust me, it's a trap. Good for you if you got up, you got out of bed on time when your alarm went off, you went to work. So for everybody out there that's working right now, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. All right? You're on your job. You're handling your BI. All right? Save up that money, save up that bread, start something on your own if you want. But in the meantime, work is that good supplemental income for you to achieve your future goals. So nobody ever downplay a 9 to 5. All right. All right. We got some things going on in the world, in the news world. Now, I don't know if you guys are really paying attention to the news, but man, everything is just about climate change, and it's so ridiculous. So we're gonna get into a little bit of climate change talk. We're gonna talk about fasting, and we're gonna talk about my transformation first of all. So we'll hop right into that. Don't want to make you wait. Torch Fuego, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning. People are doing what they have to do just to get by. So, number one on the list is my transformation. Um, everybody goes through some sort of a transformation or metamorphosis in their life. Hopefully, it's for the better. You know what I mean? And hopefully, um, in the transformation, you don't alienate too many people along your way, which is something that I'll talk about. But let me start by saying I was a regular Toronto kid, you know, in the gutter, basically, in really cramped living conditions, from apartment buildings to apartment buildings, just really dangerous places to live in the city. A lot of crime, not a lot of good influences going on where I'm from. Still to this day, a lot of those neighborhoods are low income, high crime areas. Lots of foreigners in those areas, through the islands, through Africa, through um, Asia, like Iraqi, Iranian, a lot of different cultures, and a lot of different cultures. Period in Toronto, and what I had to go through as a young child was basically like surviving, navigating the fast urban life, of the streets. Um, a lot of temptation, a lot of negative temptation out there. There wasn't a lot of positivity. There wasn't a lot of role models where I'm from. Um, One of the places that I've lived for a short while when I was young has been since torn down just due to insufficient infrastructure, mice and roaches just infesting. I remember seeing like a line of mice in my basement run like along the baseboard, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 go by. Um, Often mice caught up in the rat traps. Um, Sometimes just playing Atari or Nintendo in my basement, and just seeing mice run across our system, our TVs. So it was like a thing, mouse poo up in the cupboards, roaches at my friend's house, having to go through the cereal and stuff like that. It wasn't nice. Um, Thankfully, um, my parents had a transformation, a change of mindset, and they held together to create something better. And that has always been my inspiration. My I've always looked up to my parents for that. Um, Moving us out to a cleaner living condition, more spacious living condition, having to get 2 or 3 jobs. I know my mom had 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. Would never, barely see her. She'd be always working, working, working. And I guess that gave me the fortitude that I needed to make it where I am today. I'm not saying that I'm living lavish. I definitely had my share of mice and roaches in my adult life. I mean, I'm talking about, just 6 months ago, a year ago. But let's give it up for all the parents that, want better for their kids. Let's give it up for that. And let's give it up for everybody out there that's watching this, that's trying to make a change, trying to change your own life, trying to change your own life circumstances. And you know what? It's a mentality thing, and then it's a physical thing, just like anything else, right? It starts off the mental, and then it becomes physical, right? So my transformation was from beef patties for breakfast, leftover oxtail, jerk chicken, curry goat, curry chicken for lunch and dinner, fish, eggs, a lot of eggs, scrambled eggs, boiled eggs, you know, fried eggs. Um, so milk on cereal, milk with chocolate in it, straight milk with cookies. You know what I mean? Whatever I could get. Um, I grew up typical, typical, normal, ghetto child, just doing what we can, watering down the juices, making sure that the juice was not too concentrated, make sure it was watery, so that we could, share it around. We had four kids in the family, and when one kid gets a glass of juice, all the other kids want a glass of juice. You know how it is. So um, definitely being frugal was something I grew up with. Learning how to navigate that um, definitely made my adult life easier, because you're not spoiled. You're not, you can remember the times when times were harder, and you could be frugal as an adult, remembering, hey, this is how I got by. Having lights turned out on us, water turned off on us, hot water turned off on us, cold baths, cold showers because we had to, not knowing that it's healthier for you anyway, right? So yeah, limited cable, 5 channels. You know what I mean? It's just a way of life, and when you grow up like that, it makes you realize, it makes you really thankful for the things that you do have. Now, my transformation came when I was in post-secondary school, but really, it came when I was in high school, about um, like 16, 17. I kind of just started looking at the world differently, realizing that, this isn't the way it should be. We should have, as humanity, we should have all the luxuries. There shouldn't be food shortages. There shouldn't be wars for oil. And I was finding out about the Illuminati and the Freemasons back then in high schools, and about how the wealthy have a lot and the rich keep on getting richer. And I just started becoming more philosophical, more introspective, noticing my own actions and noticing the actions of others, and aligning it with their words, and seeing how they were, if they would line up or not. Is this person doing what they said that they'd be doing? This person feels like this one day, but is doing another thing on another day. So just a lot of hypocrisy in the news, in family, in friends. So I started to wake up in high school. Then, when I went to post-secondary school for the arts, because I'm an artist, as you know, I drew this, painted that, and it really started, becoming apparent, the hypocrisies of the world. I started getting into vegetarianism, which before that I would completely laugh at, y'all. Like, I would just be like, yo, vegetarians are for wimps. Vegetarians are for homosexuals. That's literally how immature I was. That's how immature I was. You know, obviously, obviously what you eat has nothing to do with your sexuality. And something about Dr. Laila Africa that kind of turned me off towards his teachings was he would always like bring it back to like homosexuality, like a hot dog, a lollipop, suckers. They're all gay food, and I would just be like, well, you know what, like a person who has like homosexuality on his mind all the time like that, I was always suspicious about, and like, eating a sausage, well, a sausage between two buns, it's like homosexual. I'm just like, okay, talk about the unhealthiness of the food, the grease and the clogged arteries. That's cool, but like now it's like, you transforming everything into like sexuality. It didn't vibe with me. You know what I mean? So, um, but I would laugh at vegetarians thinking that they were homosexual, and that was just like that training, like that upbringing, like, oh, real men eat meat. You know what I mean? Real men eat meat, and that to me was, why I had steak, why I ate steak, medium well, having a little bit of blood in it to kind of feel like a little bit of a savage, and it was completely stupid, and it was immature, but I that's how I thought, and I'm sure that's how many people that you guys encounter too also think. Well, I started making smoothies for myself in the morning, and I did this because I wanted to get quicker gains in the gym. I wanted to get quicker gains, so I wanted to heal quicker. So that meant, you know, uh, that meant to me more berries, phytonutrients, delivering the micronutrients to the micro tears of the muscles. You know what I mean? And that proved to help. Adding fruit smoothies to my gym routine helped a lot. It gave me more energy to lift more, and it gave me the means of recovery so that I could heal quicker. And then, once you start getting more fruits and vegetables into your diet, the more compassion, the more feeling you becoming, the more your nerves start feeling, like I've talked about before in my other episodes, and you just start to have like a universal consciousness and like a one consciousness. You know what I mean? And that just never went away, and then it evolved until today I'm plant-based for the animals primarily, then for myself, and then the health of myself, then the environment. And that's just my reasoning. That's just my order. It could be different for everybody. It is different for everybody. Um, but yeah, so that was my transformation, and now I'm getting into fasting. Like usually on a Monday, I'll fast from food. One day a week, I'll abstain from food. Um, I do want to build up to do like a 20-day fast. I do want to do a 30-day. I do want to do a 40-day fast. But definitely don't go past 5 days, or 7 days without really knowing what you're doing. Don't just jump into it. Build up to it, especially if you're going to do a prolonged fast like 20 days. Definitely be in the in the presence of a health professional that can actually monitor your levels, your potassium levels, iodine levels, etc., etc., your blood sugars, so that you don't just faint somewhere in the middle of the road and nobody knows what to do with you, and you know what I mean. So, and definitely let friends and family know that you're fasting, just in case anything happens. They have your back. What's going on, Adam Geringer? Or Geringer. What's going on? Peace and love, man. You know, we're gonna jump right into the. So that was my transformation. We're gonna jump into fasting and its benefits, but that was my transformation. That's how I became conscious of who I am and how I am. How I'm living. What decisions am I making? Who am I affecting with my decisions? And am I doing more harm on this earth than good? You know what I mean? So, um, this week is going to be a little bit different, by the way. We are going to be live streaming Monday, probably Wednesday, and Friday, instead of Tuesday and Thursday. I just figure more information out to you guys, the better. Okay? Fasting. Now, if you haven't done research into fasting at all yet, definitely look up fasting, get into the science of it, get into the health of it. It is needed. You need to do this. If you haven't done one before, it's something that you need to do. It's something that everybody needs to do. You know, when you eat a fish, the fish hasn't had time to fast and to detox itself. So when you eat a fish, you're also eating all of the toxins that it's ever accumulated in its life. When you're eating a cow eats every single day. It never had a chance to detox its body and rid itself of pathogens, parasites, microbials, etc., etc., etc. And so that you are actually eating everything that it's ever eaten in its life. Every toxin, every worm, every parasite, every microbial is inside of the meat or whatever you're eating, the milk, and it never has had a chance to reset its body, to get rid of the cysts, the cancers, the tumors, etc., etc. So that's just something to think about when you are making your food decisions at least 3 times a day. But if you are going on a fast, if you're doing intermittent fasting and you're eating at 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., you know, from 1 to 7 you're eating, and then the rest of the night and the rest of the morning you're fasting, that is amazing. Your body does a lot of amazing things on after like 12 hours, after 16 hours again, after 1 day, after 3 days is when the magic happens. Okay, so if you can make it to 3 days of fasting, that's when the magic happens. And if you could do that like once a month, then you are going to be like, you know, if you don't eat 1 day every week, that adds up to 52 days that you have not eaten food, that your body is healing itself, that it's concentrating on diminishing tumors, diminishing cysts, polyps, migraines, cellular degeneration. After a 3 day fast, or after a day of not eating, your body is actually repairing mitochondria. It's creating growth hormones. It's creating stem cells that can be assigned to different areas of your body that most need it. So definitely, definitely get onto the fasting if it's intermittent, and then a prolonged fast, like a 1 or 2 or 3 day fast, once a month or something like that. Once a year even is good. So try to get on that. Do your research. Get into it. Um, climate change. Climate change. Infamous Styles. What's going on? Salute to everybody out there that's watching. Um, share, hit the like button, share, drop a super chat if you can. It really helps support what we're doing here. Um, I'm constantly looking up articles that I can share with you guys. And for example, I'm going to get right into it. 2 days ago, a post was posted in BBC News. Okay, I'm reading off of BBC News right now. How to talk to your parents about climate change. This is serious. There are, this climate change stuff is becoming a big ordeal. Let me just share this with you here. Video capture device. I am going to, no, not. I'm going to do a Windows capture. Windows capture. Let me get it for you. And we are going to be doing the BBC News just for you guys real quickly here. Just gonna slide this over so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right here. Let's get it nice and big. How to talk to your parents about climate change, as if it's like drugs. Remember back in the day, it was like how to talk to your children about drugs, how to talk to them about sex. You know what I mean? How to talk to your parents about climate change. It's like, the climate's changing, mom and dad. There, how to talk about going meat free. So they're kind of like, it's like they're likening this climate change, this ridiculous climate change. And the reason is because of the melting, right? How to talk about flying less. Flying less. How we travel is a major source of carbon emissions, but switching from driving or flying can potentially limit family holidays and cost more. Like now we're not flying because of the climate. How to talk about being waste free? Then you're gonna go into this crazy downward spiral about waste-free materials, plastic-free wrapping. Trust me, guys, it's a big rabbit hole, and it just basically gets you distracted off of all of these different the real important issues out there, like banks crashing and banks switching over to digital currency. Um, wars happening over nothing. You know, politicians taking inside deals and not telling anybody about it. Um, China messing with Canadian politics. All of these big stories, but they want to get you focused on plastic-free things and flying less and what you can do to lower your carbon footprint. Come on, we know that the free energy is out there. People created free energy cars before in the past, steam powered cars before, and they were killed, and all their work was taken, and their factories were burned. Look at Nikola Tesla. Come on, we know the deal, but they're making it like it's on us. Like, you guys should try and figure out a better way to do this. Yeah, we have. We've had grassroots inventors invent things that are like free energy devices and perpetual motion devices, and suddenly they're killed. The average person doesn't go kill somebody, take all of their research and burn their basement. That's y'all doing that, and now y'all are saying, like, the government. Now the government is saying, the control factors. Oh, you guys should watch your carbon. Look at this next one. Accelerating melt of ice sheets now unmistakable. Well, what do you mean now unmistakable? I thought they did a whole. What happened to, what's the name that did an inconvenient truth? An inconvenient truth. Who did that? Inconvenient truth. Inconvenient truth. Yeah, this guy by Gore. Was it Al Gore? Yeah, Al Gore. Inconvenient truth. Like, it's been over a decade now since they've been telling us about climate change, and and now it's unmistakable. Yeah, well, it was back then too, but you know what? Here's the kicker: there are structures under that ice. There's structures under that snow. There are tropical vegetation under the ice, and they don't want to tell us about. They release little bits here and there. Look, tropical. I don't talk shit, y'all. I bring receipts. Tropical plants under the ice. Tropical climate in the Antarctic. Palm trees once thrived. Okay? So, I could get into it. Why we won't see tropical plants in Antarctica anytime soon? Well, because you're trying to slow down the warming of this plane. You see, look, everybody, look. This Earth was tropical all over. There was no snow. Snow and ice is a new phenomenon. It is a late comer to the game. You could see paintings. You can see poetry. You can read poetry, paintings. Those, what are those called? Like lithographs. Those drawings done with the lines of places in the north without any snow. Like when they used to depict the maps, right? Let's go to 1500 AD map or something like that. I don't know, like 8. So you look at these maps here. We'll just get it out for you guys. And I'm going to show you another map here. Old maps. It's the old maps that you need to get. That you need to at least look at. You don't got to buy them, but at least look at them. All right, if you look at these old maps, right? You can see that they know how to use color, and B, we have to remember that map making cartography has always been a very serious study. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the map for you guys. Has always been a serious study. Like this is what voyages used to depend on, okay, is maps. Okay, you don't just make a map willy-nilly. An adult has a lot much better things to do in his life than to sit down and draw a very detailed map. You know what I mean? So we have all of these winds coming in, and obviously the Earth is a plane, and here you see cities, you see towns, okay, you see kingdoms happening way up here, and what do you call it? See above Europa, way up here. There's no snow. There's no there's no icebergs. There's townships. There's kingdoms. There's castles that they are depicting. We can go to other ones too. This one's cool because they're showing all the I like all the faces blowing the wind, and these winds they're given human characteristics, temperaments, angry winds, cool winds, subtle winds, calm winds. These are like human characteristics, And up here, all the way up here, we see these green mountains happening, right? Green hills happening, and this is above. This is Egypt. Egyptus is what they're calling it. Egyptus there, and you go north to Angola. You're seeing green hills, green pastures. This is a Ptolemy inspired world map, and so the thing is, guys, is that snow and ice in the way that we know it with the polar ice caps and all that stuff, that is planned. Okay, that is created. The ice caps, all of that climate change stuff is all created. It's a recent creation as well, because they needed to condense our living space. They needed to create a new narrative. They can't give us access to Antarctica and to the north, okay? They had to cut us off because why? Because all of the tales, all of the old histories say that we come from the north. And that's where our origins lay, is the north. And then you get to the outer limits of the flat earth, which is the Antarctic ring that is around us, and then you come to know that that is land, right? That is land out there. But it's just like I said, they have cooled this atmosphere down. They've created shades. They're creating clouds so that there is an ice wall growing on top of the land. You feel me? Like, you don't just have ice growing in the middle of a salt water. Salt water doesn't freeze at those temperatures. So the ice and snow, it needs to stick to something that's organic, that can freeze and not hold the temperature. And that's why surrounding us you have an ice wall. But really, it's not ice. Once that melts, once they stop meddling with our weather, that ice turns to land. Okay? That ice turns into land. Okay? So there, like I read to you, there's tropical plant and vegetation underneath the Antarctic. So let's not believe everything they say. Remember, we have to take it with a grain of salt here, people, because these people have been lying to us since the beginning. They've been lying to us since the get-go, since the jump. So we always got to keep that in mind, all right? Infamous Style says that he lives in Maryland and it's never been 90 plus degrees in April. Hey, same here. We just had like 2 weeks of goddamn summer, and it was, it's obviously it's not supposed to be that warm in Canada, but we the flowers were coming back, the trees blossoms, the buds were opening up, everything was so happy and nice. It was crazy, you know and then suddenly we're thrown back into the cold, back into regular temperatures. So you're on one with that one because it's true. I guess other places in the world are feeling it too. California getting snow like unmeasured amounts before, like historical amounts. Trust me, they're changing our weather. And you know what? It's crazy because Teslas, the cars, they started uh they started malfunctioning because of the snow, because of the ice. It was too cold. All right, that's the temperatures. It was too cold, and Teslas weren't starting. And tell me how we had like the warmest winter on record the same year that videos are going viral about Teslas and them not being able to start. Hey, if this is what we need to prompt um, tropical weather again for a billionaire tycoon to save his car industry, so he's warming back up this earth again to where it used to be, I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with that. I think that I don't know about race and whatever, but maybe the powers that be are mostly light skinned, pale, and they needed to create um, more cool conditions so that they can live and thrive. Because if the whole world is tropical, like Jamaica hot, then that could pose a problem for heat sensitive people. But we don't know the origins of man. We don't know what is to say about these different races. We are still, I believe, uncovering the truths. I don't believe in any of that ancestry.ca shit. .ca, ancestry.ca, ancestry.com, whatever it is, .uk, wherever you are. It's all a scam, And notice how they say, don't eat or smoke before you do it. It's like, why not? Like, why can't I smoke? Like, say I smoke cigarettes. Why can't I smoke a cigarette and then spit into the tube? Is it gonna be because there's too many other chemicals in there? And but like, why is that interfering with our genome? Unless you want a chemical-free saliva sample so that you can start multiplying us and building clones of us. I swear to God, they're taking these samples from this, these ancestry things, these 23s and me, spit in this, and then suddenly you have enough genetics to create a whole nother island of a whole nother set of people that were cloned from here or something like that. You know what I mean? It's it's crazy, but I don't put anything past these sick scientists these days. Okay, let's move on. What else do we got here? Um, Greener flights will cost more, says industry. Okay, I don't know how you can make a flight greener. Obviously there's ways. I don't believe in jet fuel. I believe that they're just launching off, getting to a height that is you're floating there because when you fly a paper plane and it just starts gliding. I think it's gliding. I think it's gliding on in the lighter densities, and once it like hits the more dense planes of atmosphere, it kind of gets a little bit of a drag to like skate on, kind of like a boat on dense water, and then you put a plane high into low density, and then it's kind of skating, it's kind of gliding on a lower density. Plus, there's free energy. The higher you go in the atmosphere, the more abundant energy is. That's why towers and antennas are all high up there. The balloons, they go up there and they can last so long because there's so much free energy up there. Okay, there's even so much free energy. I believe that they can remote control, like self reinflate. You inflate a helium balloon or a nitrogen balloon or whatever gas is lighter than the oxygen down here. You send it up with a remote control pump or like an automatically timed pump. And since there's free energy in the higher atmospheres, once it reaches once the helium has escaped the balloon and it is it's losing helium, then there must be some sort of like signal, and it must trip some sort of sensor, and it starts self-inflating back again. That's it. It could be a stretch, but it's totally possible. I don't put anything past these motherfucking scientists and engineers out there in the world. Okay, let me just make this tighter and move this over. Okay, we can't do that, so we're gonna go forward a page. Let me center this for you guys. Okay, is India ready to deal with deadly heat waves? Deadly heat waves. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. They're Indian. They've dealt with hotter before. They have water, they have pools, they have springs, they have an ocean surrounding damn near the whole country except the top. So yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think that people that are dealing with exposure are always at a higher risk. You know, people that don't have tents, people that don't have water nearby, people that don't have trees and vegetation to hide under. But I think they'll be all right. What about you? You think that Indians will be okay in India? Do you think that hot yoga in India is just called yoga? Yeah, I do. I think that we are trying to, we come here and we say, oh, I just did my degree, my yoga arts degree or whatever it is, those certifications that you get, and I traveled to India and I got it from this guru and this yogi and he gave me a degree. And I came back here and started doing yoga and I just didn't feel like it was as beneficial. Like my lymphatic system wasn't moving and working as hard and I wasn't sweating and I love to sweat, and the sweat, that's how you know that you're getting the impurities out. But in India it's so easy because it's hot. But in Canada, and then you say, but in Canada, oh, I got an idea. The light bulb goes off. And then you say, huh, in India, it's hot while I'm doing yoga. While I'm doing yoga. Hold on, guys, I got somebody at my door. I'm gonna finish. I won't lose that thought, y'all. I won't lose that thought. 1 second. We're talking about hot yoga. Let me just put on some music for you while I wait. Whoever is at my door is tripping. Yeah, let me just load this up. Load this for you. Yeah, hot. Jesus Christ, this is crazy, yo. All right, let me just put something on for y'all, so that you're not waiting in silence. Something warming. What's going on, y'all? We are back. We are back. That was my daughter at the door. Nice little surprise visit. So that, hey, I love it when my daughter comes over. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. You know, the ups and downs of the everyday life of a parent. You know what it's like. If you don't, it's magical. I love it. Okay, so hot yoga. Yeah, we've created this whole like a subculture of yoga called hot yoga, where you go in and you're in the sauna, or you got the steam or the heat turned way up, and you're doing yoga in this artificially created heat. And yeah, it gets your lymphatic system moving. It gets mucus to help dissolve. But in India, it's just called yoga. So are Indians ready to deal with deadly heat waves? Yes, and you know, this is just more climate control. You have this article right here. Ninjas, the ninjas fighting climate de- denial. So if you deny climate change, if you're saying that climate change isn't real, or that it's natural, or that we're just warming back up to the the temperatures that we used to be in, then uh, yeah, that's called climate denial. And there are people ready to fight about this. Okay, now why do they need this? Because it's a whole new source of income, right? This is a way to get the whole world together before they introduce um like an alien invasion type of scenario. You know what I mean? It's how can we start taxing the whole world, and how can we start getting the whole world to feel like they're on board with something together in unison? And then how do we then implement like invaders from space or whatever? And then we'll already be taxing them, so we can already get all of the monies from them to this one world government, and we can make laws that govern all of the world instead of, you know, in their individual little pockets of their countries, their townships, which is better. How can we police the world? How can we have security on the whole world? You know, these types of things is is what they're gearing up. It's what they're gearing up uh, this world for, to get us ready to be taxed as one, to be treated as all the same. You know, there's no more individuality. There's no more rich and poor and middle class. It's all going to be just the rulers, the people that work for the government, the people that are in government, the royalty, and then all of us. There's not going to be any more, you know, entrepreneurs. There's not going to be any more. Well, they don't want there to be any more entrepreneurs. They don't want there to be any more inventors that are just, you know, inventing things. And that's, you know, if you're if you're a noted inventor, they're gonna want to scoop you up and have you work for them. If you're a scientist, a bioengineer, they're gonna scoop you up and have you work for them. Basically, they don't want any smart people in this society. That's why they're dumbing down school. That's why they're giving us food that dumbs us down. That's why they are promoting mindless television and movies. Even though the television and the movie industry are tanking, but they're pouring billions and billions of dollars into it to try to keep it propped up, because we're fine with just watching YouTube, with watching other creators like us keep us entertained, like you're doing right now while you're working. We have um, people, we have entertainment, we have people that are live streaming, we have people that are doing interviews and releasing it on their own channels. You know, we're taking billions of dollars away from TV corporations and industries. So that's that. What's up, flat stuff Earth? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Like and subscribe, guys. Share this to anybody that you think could benefit off of this information. Now let me bring this up here. Yellow dust misery. They say misery. Yellow dust misery sweeps China and South Korea, and that is basically a sandstorm. When you hear about that, the sandstorms. Now, Sandstorms are normal in places like that, um, and sandstorms really they're horrible if you have to deal with sandstorms in your town or your country. You have to basically uh, uh, border everything up, tape everything off, seal everything out, and basically keep the sand out of your eyes, your hair, getting into your home, your filters. Is horrible. And the way that they attribute greater sandstorms to the global warming again. You know what I mean? And forest fires to global warming. It's just on and on and on with the global warming. You know, we need this earth to heat back up. You know, there like you don't see animals complaining about the warmth. You don't see that. You don't see them complaining about the cold either, but a lot more animals die because of the cold than they do because of the heat. Because yeah, Canada can be like rising by 10 degrees every decade or something like that. But guess what? There's still apes and chimpanzees and kangaroos that are dealing with like 90-degree heat, Fahrenheit, 40-degree heat in Celsius. And they're finding their shade, they're living out their day. It's hot, so they're chilling out. Of course, exposure is always a thing, but you're always going to have more deaths with extreme cold than extreme heat. Facts. And the animals, salutes to the animals for doing it. Damn. Damn. Now, let me get into some veg news for y'all. Now, there was a there was an article here. It says, "Why do bees make honey?" And it's not a joke. Spoiler alert: it's not for humans. Okay, so honey is something that is vomited out of a type of stomach-like sac in the bee. So the bee has an actual stomach that it uses to break down foods and whatever, but it also has this chamber where it just stores the pollen, and it it creates honey while it's inside of the pouch in the bee. When the bee spits this back up and it puts it into the larvae little sentinels, the little cubicles or whatever, the little hectagons of the where the larvae is growing, it's spitting it back out. It's going through its salivary channel, and they got that long tongue or whatever. So next time you smell honey, notice that it smells like saliva. It smells like spit. It smells like somebody spit on your cheek and you didn't wipe it away. When you kiss someone and some of the spit gets on your upper lip and you're smelling their saliva. That is what honey smells like. Okay? Think about it. If you grab your jar of honey, if you have one, smell it. It smells like spit. That's what it is. It's spit. It's bee pollen mixed with spit. Now, it's created for its babies, its larvae, its pupae, I think it's called. And since the larvae have no teeth, it needs to eat something highly nutritious. Yes, honey is highly nutritious, but guess what we got to do to burn honey? To get honey, we got to smoke out a bunch of. First, we have to burn something in order to create a smoke, and then we spray that smoke over the honeybee hives, and that subdues them and gets them all like, oh, where am I? And it's not safe to fly right now, and I can't see because there's smoke in my eye. So they just kind of just chill, right? There's not a lot of oxygen in the air, so now they're like struggling to breathe. We're basically torturing the bee every time. Imagine having your house full with billowing smoke, and all you can do is just cover your mouth with your cloth if you have one. Bees don't have any cloth, by the way, to cover. They don't have sweaters. They don't have scarves. So they don't do anything. I guess they just hold their breath, go in a state of hibernation almost. Imagine your apartment or your room just being full with smoke. You're covering your eyes, covering your mouth, covering your nose, and you just stand still and you're just running around trying to figure out what you're going to do. Well, that's the same with bees. So if you wouldn't like to have your house smoked out, once a day or twice a day or once a week or whatever, then just think about, do the bees, would the bees like that? The and the answer is simple: no, they don't. Obviously, it's not natural. And then the removal of the boxes, of taking the crates off and scooping out the honey and putting the boxes and stacking the boxes back on top of each other, that kills bees in the process. A lot of bees die with the stacking of those crates. So that's another thing. Who is the honey for? The honey is for the larvae that can't fly, that can't crawl and defend itself, and it can't get its own food. So the bee goes out, gets pollen, swallows it, stores it in a sac, creates the honey, and regurgitates it, vomits it back into the cell of the bee, the little larvae sacs, and that's how they eat their food, and that's how they raise their next generation. And if you're saying, well, there's a bee shortage, so we gotta farm them more, no. Nature knows what to do. Nature finds its own balance. It's because we are taking so many would-be wild bees out of the population, and we are centralizing them into these homes and smoking them out every day and clearing off the honey that would be for a mass abundance of bee babies. We are shortening their food supply. So if you had short food supply, you might say, oh, I don't think right now is a good time to have a kid because, we only have Cheerios and Nesquik. We don't got kale and cabbage and tofu and mushrooms and beans and rice and carrots, and so we only have chips, we only have popcorn. So we can't go creating a bunch of kids when we don't have a lot of money, we don't got a lot of food, we don't got a lot of space. So what do you think happens with the bees? The bees are the same way. Oh snap, look at all of this honey, all of this food supply just got scraped off in one scrape. Okay, I guess we shouldn't have any more kids right now because we have to first replenish this honey supply before we have more babies. You know what I'm saying? There's a balance. Bees are not stupid. Bees are one of the most smartest insect in existence, and they find their balance. And that's why monarchs fashion their headdresses off of the bees. That's why they call it a hive mind. That's why we say queen bee. You know what I mean? We mimic a lot of things that bees do, showing how intelligent they are. So when you have a pollen a beekeeper saying, well, without the bees, we would all die. Yes, okay, that might be true. I mean, we don't know it's true because there's a lot of other cross pollinators. Butterflies being an example of them. The butterfly's wings it gets so much pollen and sap on it, and all the spores that's necessary in the the breeding process of these plants, these pollinating processes. There's more pollinators than just bees. And if you look at butterflies, their wings have so much surface area, way more than a bee, that butterflies are just as important as bees. You know what I mean? But let's just go with the narrative that if we lose the bees, we lose our lives, we lose our environment and all that stuff, right? Let's go with that narrative. Okay. They are so smart that they know how to bring themselves into a balance, a state of homeostasis. So when you hear a beekeeper say, if we don't have the bees, we don't have an environment, and I'm doing my part, I'm keeping bees, and I'm creating honey. See, it's different. It's two different things. You can keep bees. You can build bee hives. But the second you go out there and you start scraping them and smoking them out so that you don't get stung, that's when you are abusing nature. Okay, yeah, I'm all for building bat homes. I'm all for building a house for a cat if a stray cat needs a home to go to or whatever. It doesn't have a home. I'm all for building beehives and putting them in forests. And if you have a big yard, putting them in your yard. I'm all for that. But as soon as you go into their home, you smoke them out, you scrape the baby food away, you take all the baby food, because it's not the bees that are eating the honey, it's for the larvae. That is when you're violating nature, and that's where I disagree. And that's where, as a plant-based eater, a vegan, that's where I draw the line right there. I can't do that. Can't do that. Like and share, y'all. Like and share this with anybody that you know, who anybody that you know. Just share it with them, because we got to get this message out to people. Everything I'm talking about, we gotta learn how to discern the truth. We gotta learn how to read an article and see what's stupid about the article, because a lot of times we just read the article and we take it at face value. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, true. And then we go about our daily lives, and then the next person we talk to, hey, did you know that, like, this and this and this, such and such? It's like, oh no, I didn't know that. And then they take it to their group of people and say, hey, did you know my friend just told me about this? So we have to learn how to discern truth when we are reading news articles and headlines. This next one I found just really funny. Even Cookie Monster, you guys know Cookie Monster, right? Even Cookie Monster is ditching the dairy. Cookie Monster is off the dairy, y'all. It's off the dairy table. Okay, that means that when it's having its what is it? It's chocolate chip cookies, I believe. Cookie Monster loves his chocolate chip cookies. That means that there is no more animal milk to drink with that chocolate milk. Okay? Is Cookie Monster now the Veggie Monster? Is what some is what some articles are saying. No, but it is it's a new wave. You know what I mean? It's the new way to life. A lot of people, well, many people are lactose intolerant, and they're just noticing that, hey, I don't feel good after I eat animal milk. Now, a glass of almond milk looks identical to a glass of dairy milk, so I don't know how they're going to really implement the fact that he's going vegan. But right here it says, is the Cookie Monster going vegan? In short, yes. Now, obviously, there's still non-vegan cookies that he's probably eating, and of course he's just a puppet, so he's not consuming any of it. But let's just read on. Partake Foods, the Jay-Z backed vegan cookie brand. Okay, so the cookies are also vegan now. The Jay-Z backed vegan cookie brand. Okay, now it's crazy. People know where the money is, and they invest in it. Even though they're not vegan themselves, they're still investing in these things. Is collaborating with Sesame Street to debut 2 new cookie mixes. With the help of the Cookie Monster, Abby Kadabi, and Elmo, Partake's new cookie mixes will be available nationwide, featuring the company's 2 most popular flavors, birthday cake and chocolate chip. Now, let me bring this up to you. Let me bring this up for you, so that you can read along with us here, because I like when people are able to read along. So, window capture, and we are going to capture this Cookie Monster now going vegan here. Boom. Now you can see it for yourself, guys. It's not me making it up. This is real talks. This is a real thing, what we say in Toronto. It's a real thing. Now see me now. Founded in 2016 by ex-Coca-Cola executive Denise Woodward, Partake launched with the core mission to create an allergen-free, consumer-friendly cookie recipe inspired by her daughter, Vivienne, who has been diagnosed with several food allergies. Woodward developed a mouth-watering cookie recipe without dairy, gluten, or GMOs. And I'm guessing without eggs either. You know how they sometimes group eggs in with the dairy? It's weird. The collaboration also aims to communicate the importance of inclusivity, consistently discussed during Sesame Street's 53-year run, and a message from the black woman-owned vegan brand. Both Partake and Sesame Street aim to bring attention to food insecurity and how plant-based foods can offer a clear solution to a better, more sustainable, more accessible, food system. Okay? And in the article that I have here in my hand, it is saying it is talking about the milk. Okay, it says I can just bring it to you now. VegNews Cookie Monster. I'll bring you up the article so that you can read along with me. It says here, these days it seems that everyone is ditching the dairy. Even cookie-obsessed Sesame Street character Cookie Monster, the blue-hued puppet legend, is at the center of a new campaign of plant-based milk company Califia Farms. Now, this is just crazy. I mean, it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. I love it. We're excited that this is what Suzanne Genestro, Chief Marketing Officer at Califia Farm, says. We're excited to team up with Cookie Monster. Oh my goodness, all these friggin' pop-ups. With Cookie Monster to help take cereal from yum to yum 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 through this new campaign. Created in partnership with Sesame Workshop, the non-profit arm of Sesame Street, Califia's new campaign tasks Cookie Monster to try something new, like cereal with almond milk. Now, Califia Farms, their almond milk is really, really good, y'all. It's really good, and it's really, like, natural. They have, I've tried this before, and it is good. It is good. I love their products. They have like a mocha one with it's like coffee chocolate. They got a vanilla one. They got a natural one. They have even cold pressed coffees, cold brewed coffees. It's really good. People see me and think he only eats cookies, but I'm a multifaceted individual. Me try new things, Cookie Monster says in the ad, but rejects a suggestion to change his name to Cereal Monster. I like Cookie Monster better. Developed by San Francisco advertising agency Goodby Silverstein and Partners, the Cookie Monster Califia campaign will run nationally across television, social media, and digital channels. So let's give it a little watch here.
It's not your usual, but cereal is tasty with Califia almond milk.
Oh, looks yummy, creamy, delicious. See, people see me and think, oh, he only eats cookies. But me multifaceted individual, me try new things.
Guess we should start calling
First of all, that was hilarious.
on you Cereal Monster. Or that was just a joke.
Good, yeah, Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
So I'm really happy that there's humor being brought into this world. There's message, of positivity, of sustainability, of climate change, if you wanna, get into that. But mostly, I think what there's not being included is the animal welfare, right? It's the animal welfare. It's just like they're always saying it's healthier for you, and also don't forget it's the environment, and we have to watch what we're doing with the environment. But you know why, guys? Do you know why that is? That they're saying it is because once the compassion wheel starts spinning, that is when it is unstoppable. That is when you've created something that is unstoppable. The compassion component. That's what I call it. The compassion component. The compassion component states that once something like racism, women's inequality, gender, whatever, size, you know what I mean? If with big models, all-inclusive modeling. Once these things start happening. Like, remember, handicap parking wasn't always a thing, y'all. Handicap parking was not always a thing. Ramps weren't always a thing. All right, and so once you get into the compassion and the inclusivity factor, that is when things start to, it just snowball effects, right? Because one family turns into five individuals. Five individuals with their own families turn into 25 real quick. So there's this exponential growth, right? Once you have two vegan people that meet up and have three children, they're raising those three children for the most part vegan, and then those three children uh, typically like to find other vegetarian and vegans to share their life with. So that's three turning into six, like getting six people together, and each having their own three kids. Let's say 3, 6, 9. That's nine new potentials of nine new families meeting. You know what I mean? It's just an exponential curve. It's like that hockey stick factor that you get, and it goes out of control. So that is why. That is why. I mean, there are people that are vegan and they settle with non-vegan people. There's people that don't care about that stuff. But typically, you're you're doing things that you're finding someone that has similar interests with you, right? Um, Even with flat earth, you tend to have a partner, even if they don't believe in it. You talk about it until it is the common knowledge in that household, right? And then once you have children, you're raising them not with the globe standard, but you're raising them with names in mind like Eric Dubé, Admiral Byrd, Brother Sanchez, and you're putting them on to knowledge like that. So it's tough to stop the compassion ball, right? So that is why you will never see these mainstream articles and news talk about the animal welfare aspect of being plant based. It's always going to be about health, which is great, but and it's also always going to be about the environment. But it's never going to be about what about the cows? What about the chickens themselves, right? Which is more, in my opinion, more. It does better for our earth because we're not causing so much negative karma, so much negative vibrations happening. How to make every day Earth Day. Now, this is like, we have one day a year where we call it Earth Day. All the lights of all the major corporations, they turn off for like an hour. There's Earth Hour where we all shut down our computers and our screens. It's a joke. It is a joke. Like, let's be real. I think that I don't think that cities should be able to keep on their lights on all night. There should be some landmarks so that the planes don't crash and fly into them, of course. But to have McDonald's and Walmart radiating light all throughout the night, it's senseless. It wastes our energy, quote unquote, and it kills our connection to the night sky. That night sky connection is something that we really, really need, and without it, we're suffering. We are suffering. Not having that connection to the stars, not being able to see, you know, what constellation is over top of us when it removes us from nature. Even just on a subconscious level, celebrating our birthdays, walking home from a party late night, waking up early in the morning while it's still dark to go to work. And even though you're not looking at the stars, being able to see them subconsciously, you're seeing it. So subconsciously, you're getting like a reckoning of time moving slowly throughout. You know what I mean? So it's just sad that we are flooded with so much light on a daily basis, and it really just cuts off our connection to the beyond, and it's on purpose, right? You create cities with major attractions, a lot of jobs, a lot of growth, a lot of expansion. You attract a lot of people to these cities. So now you're working in a fast-paced world. You're educated because all the universities are in these cities, and Now you go home to your rural plot, your farmland, and you're teaching the uneducated, quote unquote, people, your family that never went to post-secondary school, because you're so much better than them now because you got 4 degrees, and now you're going back to your farm and you're telling them, well, actually, Jupiter is really this big and it's a gas giant, and well, Saturn isn't really physical, and the rings around Saturn aren't really just dust. It's actually huge pieces of ice and rocks, and it's like, you know what I mean, thinking that you have this education over them. And all of these people are moving into the cities, and then so you have the consciousness, and usually these people are the money makers, right? Back in the day, if you're living on your farm and you're saying, oh, she's going to the big city to be, she's gonna hit the big top, she's going to the city, she's going to make it big, and hey, when you get rich, don't forget about us, don't forget about little old me on the farm, you know what I mean? So cities are looked at as places to go, meccas to go for education, money, higher paying jobs, you know what I mean, a fast pace of life. So these people that live in the cities, now when they go back, if they go back to the farmlands, to the rural areas, they now have a sense of authority almost. It's like kind of like they're you know um, leaders in their own right. And now suddenly you're listening to them. Back in the day, you're listening to them because it's like, oh well, they must know much more. They're working on set with all these movie stars, and they're driving these fancy cars, and they have these new fashion out in the city, so they must know more. People intrinsically want to listen to celebrities. They want to listen to people that are doing better than them. You know what I mean? In life, it's just how we have been brainwashed. And so, at the same time, you have these people that are disconnected from that night sky, that are disconnected from how um, plants grow, how things sprout. A lot of people that are living in the city have never grown, have never put their hands in the soil to grow something that they then eat, to put their feet in the soil. They've lost that connection. And when you lose the connection, even with the night sky, even when you're on the farm or out there in the open areas and you're whistling for your dog to come back, your subconscious is still seeing those star arrangements, the patterns across the sky, and your body, night by night, day by day, night by night, over and over again, it recognizes this. It recognizes that last August you could see, Orion's belt, and this August you're not seeing it until September, and then next year you're not seeing it till October. You know what I mean? You may not be making physical notes of it, but your body is, and your body is adjusting its circadian rhythm to all of these things and more. You know what I mean? We are psycho spiritual chemical beings, electromagnetic beings that we play into nature. We have a part to play in nature. And right now, with the way we're going, we're obviously destroying nature. We have a big disregard for nature. We laugh at nature. We take nature for granted. We overuse its soil, and we abuse the earth. So there's just a lot of things that we have started doing that we are currently not doing anymore. You know what I mean? And it's just, and a lot of it has to do with the big city life. And so, you know, going plant based, um, getting off of the screens more, having red lights in your household for the evening time, getting some red light therapy, going on walks, go instead of a weekend trip to, some sort of resort or something. Why don't you take a weekend camping trip? If you've never gone camping, get into camping, get a tent, buy a portable gas little stove, and create a little fire. You know what I mean? Get back rooted into nature, and get the soil underneath your fingernails. Um, Dig up an earthworm. Collect a bug and set it free again. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that we could be doing to connect, grounding, um, wearing 100% cotton, or taking those trips and being naked outside. When's the last time you were naked outside? Of course, not running through the streets or anything that's going to get you in trouble, but go to a secluded area where nobody can see you. Go to a nude beach. When's the last time you were naked outside where the sun touched every inch of your body? Get into this. And that is how we can slowly start reintegrating ourselves back with nature. Because I'm telling you guys, with all the AI that's coming out, with all of these, with all of our luxuries being met, all of our wants being supplied, we are becoming weak. We are becoming denatured. We are losing our humanity. And all of these atrocities that are happening is like, it's like second-hand nature now. You know what I mean? So let's get back to nature. There's small things that you can start doing, and I trust that once you start doing those small things, then you will start evolving. Really, you will start evolving. I'm gonna show you guys something that I made because I was watching Yaki Awakened. If you guys don't know who Yaki is, he's like a master herb healer. Let me just get it for you here. Right here. I got it. So, Yaki did a stream the other night. Peace to Yaki. I'm going to cheer for that brother. Shout outs to him for doing all the work that he's doing in the community. With whether you're white, brown, purple, flat stuff earth. You said not true. I don't know what you're saying not true about. But, Yaki Awaken. If you don't know Yaki Awaken, I'm going to drop it in the chat. Yaki Awakened. There you go. YAHKI. That is YAHKI. He gave this this blend to restore and remineralize your teeth. And I made it. I actually made it. I don't mess around. The three bitter challenge that Yaki has. He posts those ingredients, so I bought the ingredients, and I'm collecting the ingredients. One of them is on order, and I gotta find another one. But here we go. This is a blend. This is coconut oil base with sodium bicarbonate. Has a little pink Himalayan salt in it. For salt helps to cleanse bacteria, but it also, the pink salt has typically 70 to 80, 90-ish minerals in it. It's kind of like sea moss, but it's salt, right? So you have all those trace minerals in it that are helping to remineralize the teeth. Then you got, he said white oak bark. So I got the white oak bark, myrrh. Okay, so I got myrrh, the myrrh gum. What else we got in here? Olive leaf in here. And we have neem leaf. And we have cloves, grounded up. Fresh cloves, grounded up. And I think that's about it for that. And I think that's it. And I blended it all together, blended it down very, very fine in a coffee grinder, and I came up with this, mixed it all together, and I oil pull with this, and I let it just soak onto my teeth. I brush my teeth with it. This is all I brush my teeth with. I didn't put any mint in here for flavor. I like the flavor how it is on its own. But if you guys want to create your own remineralizing toothpaste, Yaki is definitely a good place to source that from. So that is I'm super excited about that. I've been using it for the past 2 days. I made myself enough for about maybe, 2 weeks, maybe a month. We'll have to see. So yeah, y'all. That is going to be it for this week's live. Well, not this week's, but today's live stream. Like I said, we're probably going to be doing this every Monday, Wednesday, and possibly Friday. I don't want to commit to rigorously to that, I know that before I was doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, but some things changed, and I thought that I might be able to, you know, um, be more consistent for you guys. Share more because there's so much news happening and there's so many perspectives that I want to get out there. And soon we're gonna get more into the flat Earth physics and who I look up to in the flat Earth realm. And also, I want to start drawing the flat Earth. I want to start getting your guys' input on the flat Earth, on what you envision it. And then what I can do is I can paint it, and or I could uh, draw it with pencil crayons or whatever it is, right? And I can get a more working models to visualize what we're speaking of, because it's hard for some people to really visualize this flat Earth. A lot of people are saying, well, is it just a disc in space, and or can you fall off the edges, and well, what about the ice wall, and are there more concentric rings, and all of these questions, which are it's great questions, but it's like I feel like the people that are imagining, they they don't have to really have a picture in front of them, but some people they do need pictures in front of them, right? So that's gonna be all for this for today's episode. I hope I gave you guys what you need, and we are gonna be out of here. Um, Full moon. Hey, I'm always down for a good full moon party. So, or even a new moon. A new moon is a way that you can release and rebuild. So definitely, definitely, when it comes to those new cycles of the moon, it's time to manifest. It's time to let go of the things you don't want, and start thinking about the things that you do want for this next month. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm gonna let this ride out, and you guys do what you guys need to do. And remember, you're working today to create a better future for yourself, for your family tomorrow. Okay? There's nothing shameful about working. You have that 9 to 5, but you have bigger ideas as well. So go capture those bigger ideas when you're on somebody else's watch. If you need flyers to print out for your business, print it out at work. If you need cleaning supplies for your business, take a soap bottle, take a toilet paper roll. See what you can do on your 9 to 5 that's gonna help your business grow, and that's gonna set you free. All right, because it's all about you guys. You gotta do what's right for you. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna let this ride out. Have a great day with doing whatever you guys are doing. Peace, love, and light to the fullest, and always expand your mind and eat to live. All right, y'all. Peace.